All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to say call on Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Wadash. Give him all praises to. Ooh, my lips are cracking. It's hot. Lips are cracking. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Wadash, my Father in heaven, the King of kings, the Lord of lords, and the God of gods. There is no other gods beside him, not wood nor stone, only the ones that he made, which is Yahweh Shai, and the angels in heaven, and then you got the Israelites, which are the angels on the ground. Those are the gods that he made. Yahweh Shai, his only begotten son, is the general of them all, and Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is the highest. Much love to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakwadash, King of kings, Lord of lords, God of gods. And much love to his son also, Yahweh Shai's son. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and other names that don't have power, and other names that are false. And his current name is Jesus Christ, and it has no power. It's the wrong name. His name is Yahweh Shai, which means I am your savior, or no, Yahweh Shai means salvation. And you got Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai means I am your savior, or I am your salvation, or I am. You can do it like that too, I am. Much love to the only begotten children of Israel. No, only his only begotten children, the Israelites, especially the chosen, whoever they may be among the children of Israel. Much love to you out there. Blessings to you, whoever you are out there. Much love to the beautiful Akim, the beautiful men that's in the Word, the New Covenant brothers, the New Covenant prophets. Much love to you. They preach the truth, and they give us proper breakdowns. They give us precepts. They give us the secrets of the Bible, and they let us know. They let us know of up-to-date news and times that we in, and get us and all to get us to go back to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and to be brought into the new covenant, so we may be able to call on Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and He will answer, and we'll be found clean and be protected in these dark times that are coming. Much love to the beautiful Aquaf, the beautiful women that's in the Word, and whether you got a man or not, you still follow the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh, and you listen and you learn in silence. Coming back at you with another episode through the power and spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Yesterday I was talking about the religions of the world and the idols, and the idols and the monstrosities, and just looking at the false idols, and how limited they are to the imagination of men. Just getting some breakdown, getting some insight on that, and how fake these idols are, and the people, that are pretty much crazy for worshiping these idols and these graven images. So, today's title is Body, Mind, and Spirit. Because I've been going through a lot during my journey, and just dealing with a lot with myself, and having time to look more and more in myself. I've realized a lot of things that I've been chasing for, it's been hollow. Whether things that I never acquired or things that I acquired, it was all wrong. And I've been chasing a lot of things that can be found within myself. And like Yahweh Shai told the Israelites, the kingdom of heaven is within you. And blessed be the poor, for I know you are rich. That's not an understatement. And a lot of things that I've been searching for, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is all that I need. And His Spirit is residing in me, and I can get everything from within, So I've been looking all the wrong places, and everything that I needed been right under my nose. And like Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai said, fear not thy worm Jacob, for I am with thee, and I will help thee. And we can't do anything on our own. We're not strong enough to make things bend to our will. We're not strong enough to warp reality. Like Yahweh Shai said in the Bible, can a man add a cubit to his stature? Meaning that, can you double in size? Can you change your size proportion? Due to the limitless imagination of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai and His Son and the angels, they can do just about anything and they could do things that are beyond the human comprehension. And one of those things is doubling your size, changing your body proportion, and giving yourself the power to become bigger. Just like the anime Attack on Titan, they get a lot of this stuff, and a lot of these superheroes and a lot of these stories with people with superpowers. A lot of that come from the Bible, and probably from different religions at different times. People have always believed, and they've always worshipped power itself, and believed in people having powers, or gods having powers, or animals even having powers. So that's a lot of it do come from the Bible in my perspective. But it's always been there. But you don't have that power to do that. But it's within you to have it. Like Yahweh Shai said, if you would tell this mountain to move, it would move. By the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua alone, by the word alone, and by your strength alone. Now that's where you get a lot of these superheroes that can punch through mountains, and gods that can cut down buildings and cities with a sword swing. That type of power. And it's already dormant within the children of Israel. Like Yahweh Shai said, even if you have faith as a mustard seed, you would tell this mountain to move. You don't even need a lot of faith to have to get this type of spiritual power. To have this type of spiritual power. But all it takes is for you to believe. Believe that it can be done. Believe that it can happen. Oh, that brings up a dream. And one of my dreams. Whew, my goodness, I'm looking at the wrong things right now. Well, in my dream, I had a dream that I was running away from SWAT, or before I get back on subject, I was running away. What is that in my eye? I was running away from SWAT, or some military soldiers, and I had a girl in my hand, and it played out like a epic movie or something. And then we was running through the forest, and while we was running, it was running behind us. Next thing you know, we was both afraid. And I always tell this story. I'll never forget this dream. We was both afraid, and we had to jump in the well. We knew that if we jumped in the well, that we would die. But they was coming so fast, and that was after us, that to the point to where we had no choice. So we both jumped into the well, and they came running, and they were shooting their guns inside the well. So we had to sink deeper and deeper into the well so we can avoid the gunshots and we can stay hidden. And they waited, and they was waiting for us to come up out of the water. And what had happened was I had gained spiritual powers that became physical. And I was able to breathe under the water. I was able to breathe in the water, and I took two of my fingers, and then I touched her throat, and she was able to breathe under the water too. So the shooters and the soldiers was waiting on us for a while. But then eventually they probably thought that we ran past the well and got away, or we died, and they gave up. So they left, and we came and we jumped out of the water, and we kept running, and that was the end of the vision. And the vision was so powerful, is that at the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua itself, his spirit is always within us, and he can make the impossible possible. So with that being said, it says, is there anything too hard for the Lord? For you to consider something impossible to the Lord is a sin, and it's disrespectful. Because Yahweh can do anything, just anything. Anything, and even beyond our imagination, things that we've never seen. So with that being said, the body, the mind, and the spirit is very powerful. I've been going through a lot, dealing with not only just my mind, but my spiritual journey, and then my physical journey, with body game and the world of fitness, and finally finding myself and finally finding my balance, and pushing it to the extreme, pushing it as hard as I can, and doing all that I can to take care of myself and to live within my means and to have a pretty much balanced life. Like Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is providing for me, and he's also teaching me a lot of things that that are going to help me in the times to come in the future. If he allowed me to live to see those days, then this would allow me, help me to survive these times that are coming. See, because I had a problem with we can start with the mind. I had a problem, and it all started with the mind. You know, I had a problem with my mind. You know, I had a problem with one of my real problems was self-acceptance. You know, I was pushing away myself, so I was causing self-destruction. I was destroying myself because I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what my capabilities was, you know, and I had no purpose, you know. So with that being said, I was constantly pushing away the most prettiest girls that the Lord would deliver. He would send these pretty, beautiful women my way, the best of the best. I would have the best girl in the room all the time. They had the hots for me. They had their eyes on me. They wanted me. They threw themselves at me, and I would push them away. And it was due to a lot of drugs and having a feminine mindset. A lot of weed can mess your mind up. Being feminine, not playing the game how you're supposed to, and making things complicated when they were simple. And back in my days, you know, a lot of girls could say, like, he was pretty weird when I met him. But, you know, now today, when they see me, you know, when I put myself back on social media and things like that, you know, they'll be like, dang, he improved. He a lot better. I should check up on him, you know. And I came from a really strange background. My mindset was really twisted, feminine, you know, weird, not really doing what I was supposed to do, backwards, especially with all the weed that I would smoke, all the drugs that I would do. You know, it really screwed my mind up. And I started to notice the more and more that I was doing this to myself, and I was lowering my capabilities as a person, you know, and, you know, just kicking it with the wrong people, you know, chilling with the wrong people, you know, doing drugs that's pushing me to lower and lower levels of depravity, you know, thievery, poverty, you know, living lower than what I was supposed to. I was no different than the hobos and the bums. And, you know, I had a very, you know, I was extremely, like, not extremely beautiful, but I was beautiful, and I didn't know it. So when when people would see me, they wouldn't understand, like, why is you out here begging for change? Why is you out here, you know, all bummed out, standing on the corner, you know, asking for money and doing all of these things? They wouldn't understand, you know, because of the type of person I was. I just didn't belong there. But due to the drugs and all of that, that's where I put myself, you know, and not understanding that mental stability took years and years and years for me to understand. Years of drugs, which is weed. So I didn't do nothing else. But years of that and instability caused me to have a double mind. But in the double mind, you know, one part was trying to tell me, and then the other part of me was rejecting what I was telling myself. So this was the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, trying to get me to come together, because I was a broken person. I was the one breaking myself. I was the one destroying myself, and it hurt me each and every time that I did it. But I didn't know how to stop it. I didn't know how to control it. Sometimes when you encounter people, sometimes people be having problems, and they try to stop the problem, but they realize that they don't have no control over their problems. They don't have no control over the situation. They can't control it. They don't know how. They don't know how to turn it off, you know? They don't know how to turn it off. They don't have no self-control. Some people don't. Some people just, you know, and it's people that's even older than me that still haven't learned that, to have, when the Lord allows you to some degree to have more control over the things that you do, to choose the right way and to do what you know that is right, and to change your life and to go a better path. Some people don't know how to do that. They don't know how to do that, and then sometimes they reject that, whether it be that they happy with the life that they got, or, you know, they just not ready, or, you know, they just don't accept that. They just, you know, they happy with what they got. They going on with their life, and, you know, or some people, like I said, just don't know how. And I was one of those people. And, you know, I used to go through a lot, and I realized, you know, how much of it was for no reason. It was for no reason. And like I said, never trust a double-minded man. You know, it says that in the Bible, don't trust a double-minded man. You know, for my type of person, I couldn't even trust myself, So I was really destroying myself. So the Lord was like, all right, Yahweh Shem Yahushua was like, all right, now it's time for him to figure out the truth, time for him to detox. He need to go on and start cleaning himself up. But it took years, and it took years, and it took years in the making to actually pull off the walls that I built. And trust me, people can build some subconscious walls, some pretty thick walls, pretty strong walls that are hard to break. That's why a lot of people never change, because they the ones that set these walls, and they got to tear them down to let people through. Sometimes people can't tear down the walls that somebody built for themselves to get through to them. The people that built the walls got to tear it down. And sometimes people never get to that point. Sometimes people aren't even strong enough to break them walls subconsciously. They just not. And that's how people never change, because they not afraid. No, they afraid to face themselves. They are. And they want people to help them, but at the same time they're rejecting that help. It's something that they have to do on their own. And over time, I had to focus on me, and for a long time it put me in that zone, to focus on myself and to be to myself and to really dig deep inside myself and find myself, really, because I was a very lost person. I was a very drugged out person. I was a very bummy person, even though despite how I looked and my capabilities, I didn't acknowledge them. So that became a serious problem, and then it came to like the detox. The Lord Yahweh put me on a detox so that I was able to start cleaning myself up, but it took time to break down that wall. And I actually got lucky. I got lucky, thank goodness, because the Lord had taught me a technique how to get rid of weed for good, and in order for me to do that, I had to depend on another substance to cancel it out. And it was drinking wine and trying little liquor beverages, to break me off that dependence. And I didn't have the stomach for drinking, but I did try it, and it worked. But over time, I got tired of drinking, and I ended up giving that up because I was never really into it. I was just doing it to cancel what I was doing, So I got off the drugs, and then I got back on it out of depression. I fell back into depression. This could get very addictive. It can get really dark. Like from where the Lord had me, I fell back into that, And it was even one time I was angry at Yahweh over a girl or whatever. I'm going to be honest about it. And not knowing that I already had her. It was the fact that I realized what I did. And when I tried to get her back, I couldn't. Because she was already, loving somebody else, with another boy. And she wouldn't give me the time of day because she already gave me the time of day. And look what I did with it. So that really, it became a obsession for me to get this girl back in my life. Whether, I had to look smacks. Tried to look smacks through clothes, gesture maxing with cars, trying to be cool with money, trying to be seen with another girl. None of that worked. None of that mattered. She happened to be in a relationship, though. And sometime after that relationship, she did hit me up to see if I was around, but I was long gone because I was deep in a change. One day I might come across her. One day I might see her again and I'll be better. And I know for sure we might end up, hooking up and talking and stuff. But at the same time, for now, I learned to keep digging deeper, because I'm at a point of a self-transformation, what they call it, identity shift. I'm at that point. So, with that being said, what it say, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of times, the strength of salvation, the fear of Yahweh is a treasure. So with me having the knowledge that I know about Yahweh, and not freaking out, not flipping out, not going crazy about what I've discovered, because I used to go crazy about all of this, all of the Bible things, all of the theories and all of that. I used to be crazy about this, posting it on Facebook, posting it everywhere, posting it. I was out on the highways and byways out force, but that was during the time I was still smoking And, I wasn't really up for it, but I just couldn't control my motivation. I couldn't control myself. I couldn't control anything. And I just wanted to help, but I had to stop, shortly after I fell into depression because I had to stop going to the highways and byways because I was doing it all wrong, and I fell in depression over a girl, and then I was mad at the Lord over that. I was mad. I ain't gonna lie, but I was wrong to be mad at him because he already gave it to me. He already gave it to me. He gave me a lot of stuff. The Lord Yahweh gave me a lot of stuff. Come to think of it, He gave me a lot of opportunities. He gave me a lot of things. He gave me a lot of different paths. He gave me a lot of chances. And it took time for me to realize that. And then that's when I realized, when I finally, because it took time, because the Lord put a mirror before you, so you can really see who you are, and I finally figured out who I was, and I finally accepted who I was in that mirror, and I finally started listening to Yahweh. I started listening to myself as well. And that started putting me more and more in order. And I needed knowledge. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua was there to give me knowledge. And one of the hardest things to do when a man is out of order is to get in order. Very, very difficult. Very, 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 very difficult. It is very difficult. Not an easy task, but it has to be done if you want to move forward. Otherwise, you're going to end up, like, for example, like the 40-year-old 40-year-old drug user. And since he couldn't conquer a simple drug, and he let that drug overtake him, now he on the streets. Now he ain't got no money. Now he homeless because he couldn't overcome an obstacle over his life. He became his own worst enemy, and he won. And he won, And he didn't allow himself, like I say, put off the old man and put on the new man. He didn't allow that to happen. Everybody got to go through a change. But some people aren't ready. Some people like their lives. Some people just don't want to do it, But, if you don't do it, you can destroy yourself. If you do it, then you get to where you need to be. But a lot of people be afraid of that, And that is a good example of that, Like it says, even the youth shall be weary, but the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall they shall walk and not faint. They shall run and not be weary. So it's kind of chopped up the precept, but you pretty much get the gist. Yahweh renews your mind. He renews your spirit. Now I get to that spirit part too. He renews your mind, and he changes it, and he puts it in the order that it was. Like how Yahweh was talking about how he cast out spirits out of a person's body. It was a prophet that was talking to Yahushua, and it was like, how come we can't cast out certain spirits out of certain people? And Yahushua said, you can't cast it out, but you can only cast it out through prayer and through constant fasting. And pray means to beg, so through constant begging and to constant praying and a constant fasting, could you cast out a spirit, sometimes when you can't save a person, they got to save themselves. They got to be able to cast out the spirits that they let in. They got to be able to kick them out, and it could be quite a battle. Like I said, like he said in one of his precepts, like how I said, a spirit go into the house of a man and find it clean and find nowhere for him to be, But then the man, he go fall back into his old ways, and then 7 spirits enter a man and then destroy him. 7 more spirits. So that means that he's completely, 7 means completion. So that means that he's completely destroyed. Completely. And he's worse than the time that he had the spirits on him was worse, but now he's worse than before. Because he fell back. He reprobate mindset. He fell back. He gave up. He fell off. And we all do. We all, like I said, all fall short to the coming of the glory of Yahweh. All of us fall short. We're not perfect. And then sometimes you fall off. The Lord will allow you to fall off just to see if you're going to get up again. That right there is powerful too. That right there is powerful too. Like for you to lose a fight, get your butt kicked, and then you get up, and that's 2 choices. Is you going to fight again or what? It's up to you. But with that being said, he do that sometimes just to push them down to see if they going to get up and fight. How you doing, brother? Hello. Oh, he's not listening to me. But you know, just to see if you're gonna fight, man. That's what all that matters. Hey, I like your t-shirt. How you doing? How you doing? You like the Bible? You stay blessed then. You know the Lord love you. You know you're Israelite, right? Stay blessed. Have a good day. But you know, it be like that. What it say? The Lord chasten the ones that He love. Yes, that is a true thing. If the Lord don't love you, then nothing ain't gonna happen to you. You're not gonna go through no type of adversity. You're not gonna have no kind of problems. And I've seen people like that. He's not gonna put no obstacle in the way. He's not gonna test you. He's not gonna punish you when you're wrong. You know, what it say? Do not spare the rod. That's real, man. That's real, man. And it be a lot of people with kids like that. You know, they got kids that they don't whoop, that they don't punish, that they don't correct. So they grow up, and their kids grow up to be corrupted. All they do is spoil them, and all they do is take care of them, and all they do is coddle them. So not only, and then the kids turn against them. The kids destroy them, and the kids destroy everything else until they destroy it themselves. So, you know, with that being said, if the Lord loves you, you're going to go through a lot of adversity. You're going to go through a lot of obstacles. You're going to be tested to the bone. You're going to get tested till you broken. You're going to get up, get broken again, get your spirit broken again, and then you're going to get back up again just to see if you're not going to give up. Just to see if you're going to keep going. Who said that this was a cakewalk? This ain't no cakewalk. This is the iron furnace. Right. America is the iron furnace. The world is the iron furnace. You know? And one of the main things that's set for us Israelites is to overcome the obstacles that we put on ourselves and that Yahweh put on us. To overcome that. And like I said, this is the iron furnace, and the Lord tries to like gold through the fire. Either you gonna melt or you gonna come out solid. Is reality. That's the reality. And since we the apple of His eye, we the one that He really desired. He really gonna put the smack down on us. Like He said, but before I punish all the nations, I'm gonna start with the house of Israel. Y'all gonna get y'all whooping first. Y'all gonna get punished first. And then the rest of the nations, y'all gonna get did even worse. You know, but the Israelites gonna get it first because I love y'all the most. Y'all gonna get y'all's first. I'm gonna get y'all. Y'all gonna get y'all's, you know. And then I'm gonna move on to the nations. And then but they gonna have it the worst. And then Esau, which is the fire starter himself, he gonna get it the last, and he gonna get it the worst out of all of the nations. Like Yahweh B'Shem Yah. No, like they said, if the Lord is with us, then who is against us? That's right. You know? And Yahweh is with the children of Israel. That's why He gonna get them out of the way first. But they gotta get corrected. And that's the same thing for those of us when it comes to our mentality. You got to be corrected. Now, moving on to the spirit, you know, my spirit was also diluted too. You know, I had different beliefs and I didn't believe in everything, but I was interested in a lot of things that were forbidden. You know, forbidden knowledge, occult knowledge, I was interested. I'm still interested, but I don't really dabble in it no more. Demonology. Used to be real big on tarot cards, real big on witchcraft. You know, just didn't know how to work witchcraft. I found that witchcraft was kind of boring, but that's because I didn't know I didn't know how to do it. I wasn't smart enough. I didn't know how to navigate witchcraft. So I kind of found it to be kind of boring, and I let it go. The only thing that I've never came in contact with was a Ouija board, because I knew that it was a form of craft that you couldn't control. You know, gateways that can open and you can't close them. You know, spirits that you can let into your house, invocations that you invoking, and you don't have no commandment to control them. They come and attack you. So with that being said, you know, I dabbled and dabbled on a lot of things. You know, like one of my favorite occult books was The Lesser Key of Solomon. You know, with the 72 demons and all that, and how Solomon controlled all the demons and all that. You know, one of the things that I took interest in was the finger of God. I do believe it's like an alchemical symbol, and trying to understand the meaning and trying to understand the breakdowns, you know, but it came to a point to where the Lord had to warn me about all of that. I didn't really have the mindset about all of it. And, you know, the more I studied the Bible, it took me to different avenues, and it took me to uncharted places that I didn't belong. The Bible is a book that's sealed. So, you know, before I knew the truth, I knew Christianity. And when I was reading Christianity, it could lead you to all sorts of different roads. You know, like the book of Adam and Eve. It led me to the book of Enoch. You know, it led me to calling Yahweh Yahudah or Yahshua or Elohim. You know, it led me to, what's another book? Paradise Lost. You know, it led me to stories about, what's that man's name? I forgot this man's name. He like an alchemist. Like, dang, I had his name at the tip of my tongue. It's this white guy that he had created a language called Enochian language or Enochian magic, and damn, what's his name? One of them was Aleister Crowley, and then another one was damn, what's his name? I don't know, but he was a real famous guy that worked for Queen Elizabeth II, I think. And he used to study the Black Mirror. So, you know, if people know that or understand that those circles and understand the occult, you would understand, you would know this type of guy. But forgot his name though. But I'm not gonna go too far into it, but I was into a lot of other things, you know, studying the Lesser Key of Solomon without knowing any proper subjects, studying the 72 demons of Goshen, the Rs, you know, just getting into darker and darker things. But, you know, Yahweh had to put that voice in my head to tell me to let it all go. And it was useless. Before you do something stupid and you open something that you don't have no idea how to close and you don't know what you're doing, quit all of it before you go any further. And I used to study all this with my cousin, you know, so I ended up throwing it all away. I ended up throwing it all away, balling it up, burning it, and I got rid of it, and I just left it alone, you know. I just let it go. But, you know, I had an interest in that, and the Lord had to remove a lot of that out of my spirit. You know, to this day, you know, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not perfect. I still take a little bit of interest in it, but I don't study it, I don't touch it. It's just things that I see on little Instagram reels and all that, different people and all that. And, you know, I used to be interested in the study of spirits. I used to be interested in the study of spirits, you know, so that's why I believe Yahweh Shem Yahushai when it comes to, you know, seeing with your physical eyes and then seeing with your spiritual eyes, you know, and seeing the world from a spiritual point of view, from the Lord's point of view, you know, how people be having all these spirits on them, you know, how all these people be having these demons on them that be demonically possessed without you not even knowing it, you know, and they walk around like this every day. And like the Lord says, see the things that are unseen. Or like the Lord say, you attend angels aware. You don't know. You could have passed up that Israelite man, and all he needed was $1 so he can go get him something to drink. And it's this hot in the summer, you know, and it's boiling hot in the summer, and you don't know that it was an angel. That old man that asked you for $1 was an angel, and you cast him off. And the angel can go up and report the news to the Lord and be like, this man didn't have a good heart, and he passed me up, and he had over $500 on him and just got paid, and couldn't give me $1 to save my life. Couldn't give me $1 to give me a cup of a bottle of water so I can have something cool to drink in these hot times. So you got to be careful. Have hospitality towards your people. Love your brother as you love yourself, man. That's facts, man. That's deep right there, man. And be careful, because you attend angels unawares. You know, you got to be careful of that, man. That's how the spiritual world is. An angel can appear or reappear. Like I said, they can do a lot of things that are beyond your imagination. They have all the godlike power. They got all the power at their disposal. They can do anything because they got the spirit of Yahweh with them, and a pure spirit at that. But at the same time, they got a lot of rules that's a part of them that's not a part of us. And they can do, you know, but for the Israelites, they got to have that activated. They have the rules on them, but they got to have the commandments activated in order for them to do that. You know, like, the Lord to allow you to pass through walls. You know, the Lord to allow you to stop bullets. You know, the Lord to allow you to fly. He has to activate those commandments in you. So they already in you. It's just that they have to be reactivated because they've been turned off. You know, in the past, a lot of Israelites had different powers. That's what the Bible is there for. You know, you had a lot of them, especially the famous ones like Moses, Abraham, you know, Jacob that became Israel, You got Isaac, which is Yahweh Shai. You got Melchizedek, which is Yahweh Shai. You got King Solomon, which is Yahweh Shai through reincarnation. You got Samson. You had Daniel. You had Meshach, Abednego, and Tubal. I think Daniel's name was Meshach. The three holy children. You know, you had Jonas. You got Paul. I think his name was Saul, and they changed his name to Paul. And then you had the rest of the 12 prophets, James. You got Isaiah, you know, and you got, oh man, Maccabees. He was real powerful. He was real powerful. He was a real warrior, man. He was a real warrior. He was stepping on shit in his time, like Maccabees. And you got Esdras. You know, and you had a lot of them, and that's because they had like a clean spirit to them, you know. They had that separation, you know, and the Lord had cleaned their spirit. I had a problem with that too. And you know, you have different spirits that attach themselves to you. Like I said, seven spirits shall enter a man, and he shall destroy him, and he'll be worse than the former. So with that being said, you know, you got spirits that attach to your spirit and that live in your house, which is your body, and they live like parasites. Difference between a parasite that you can see and then a parasite that you can't see. You know, spiritual world work like that. So, you know, the Lord had to get a lot of that knowledge out of my mind and put my mind on a one track knowledge. Like I said, I'd rather build my house on a rock than I build my house on sand. You know, the sand represent different, each and every speck of sand represent different ideologies and different ideas. But the rock is solid. You know, the rock is one thing. The rock is just one solid idea, one solid belief, you know. And the rock is Yahweh. Like you said, I am your rock. You know, it won't break. When the flood comes, I'm going to support your house and you won't fall. Rather than you build your house on sand, and when the flood comes, it's going to push the sand away, and then it's going to wash your house away. And that's the same thing with a lot of people nowadays. You know, they believe in so many different things, and it keep them lost. It keep them lost. Your whole body can be in order. You could be ripped and all of that, and your mind still be cooked. Look, you could be a whole Israelite, and you could be, oh man, like that one Israelite dude that got the brain chip. And I know everybody done heard about this, so people that see this video, they're gonna understand it. And the guy got a brain chip in his brain, and he ripped. He got a whole nice body. You know, he all ripped, he all gigantic and stuff, and he just like super duper beautiful. But he got a brain chip. He got that brain chip put in his brain, and he was one of the first people to have it. You know. So now you got this beast system that's running around, and people are actually trying it and going out and advertising it. So it's becoming more and more of a real thing, you know. And he ain't far away. All he got to do is go get the RFID chip in his hand, and then get the next one in his forehead, and it's a wrap, you know. It's a wrap, you know. Even though it's already a wrap for him, because you're not supposed to do that. You know, you appointing the white man as God over you. That's what you're doing when you getting that chip. You know, so that's demonic within itself. So that's disrespectful. But I'm just saying it's becoming more and more evident. This beast system, these things that the Lord was talking about, is becoming more and more manifest, more and more here on this plane, and just real, like just real, man, super real. You know, and you know, with that being said, a lot of it ain't no lie, man. It's not a lie. So, you know, with that being said, a lot of that stuff, I believe in all of that. I'm straightforward now. I believe in what Yahweh Shem Yahushua was telling me, and I don't believe nothing else. Now, they do say in the Bible to have respect for all walks of life. That is true. Have respect for them, even if it's stupid. You know, even if what they believe in makes no sense at all. Respect it and keep it pushing. You know, like you say, dust your feet off and keep moving. You know, they don't have to, you can hear them out. You can understand their argument. You can understand their part, you know. You can argue back a little bit, but you got to have respect on what they believe. If they don't believe what you believe, then that's fine. Not everybody was meant to get it. Many are called, but few are chosen. Not everybody was meant to get it. And it's okay, you know. Let them believe whatever they want to believe. Like Yahweh Shai said, they shall be amazed at the strangeness of your salvation. They're going to be amazed. A lot of people going to be corrected. A lot of people going to break down and cry. Some people going to kill themselves when they see these events happening, when they see these people being saved. You know, they see these people with all these powers. Like I say, and the gospel shall be preached around the world and be a witness unto all nations, and then the end shall come. So with that being said, when the end comes, a lot of people, a lot of scoffers they not going to be scoffing. You know, a lot of scoffers, they're not going to be around. I was talking about that. A lot of people that was sitting up there pushing these different ideologies, you know, with the religions and the idols, you know, and all that, they going to be on the run. They ain't even going to be present. A lot of people are going to be corrected like, damn, they was right, man. I was a fool not to believe, and now look at me, you know? A lot of people are going to be like, what? That was Yahweh Shai? Those the angels? What, these people got powers and all that? I'm about to kill myself right now. I'd rather die by my own hands than die by the Israelites and allow them to get their revenge. And they still gonna get their revenge, regardless. You ain't got nowhere to run, you know? You ain't got nowhere to run. You know, like he said, he ran out and a bear met him, and then he ran back in the house, and then a snake bit him. You know, it ain't got nowhere to run. Now, I chop up my precepts and all that, but it's okay, you know? Like, you pretty much get the gist, you know? You know, so, but I believe straightforward. I believe straightforward, and I respect other people and what they believe, even if it don't make no sense, even if it's not true. Respect them, you know? You don't got to believe what they believe, just respect what they're trying to talk about. You know, if they don't believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, they believe in Jesus, they don't want to change their ways, all right, I ain't trying to disrespect you. I respect what you're doing, and that's it. That's all I can do, man. You know, and keep it pushing. You know, but with that being said, a lot of that had to be separated from my spirit. You know, I had different spirits on you, like the spirit of weed, you know, the spirit of self-rejection. You know, I had demonic spirits attacking me, you know, like physically too. Demonic spirits all around me. There was a lot of things that was connected to me that had to be severed. And it took time. Things like this, fixing a person can take time. It could take years. Sometimes it might not work at all, you know, but it takes time. And if that person, because nothing is free in this world, you know, nothing is free that you get from Yahweh. You got to pay for it. You got to earn it. You know, you got to show Yahweh Hashem Yahushua that you want to change. And the Lord is going to meet you halfway. No one is half the battle. Right. No one is half the battle. You know, so with that being said, you got to meet the Lord halfway. That's just what it is, man. He not going, and the Lord going to go the other half. You ain't going to